All right. Good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. And as tradition on Thursdays at Long, we host a coffee break for 15 minutes here. My name is Jeff Rodell. I'm a sales engineer with Long and specialize in air distribution. With me today, I have Gassan from Ruskin. He's the Western Regional Sales Manager, and he is going to walk us through some software selections and programs that are available to everyone on Ruskin's website, ruskin.com. And I will pass the mic over to him. Once again, thank you very much for joining us and look forward to this presentation. Thank you. Gassan?
Yes, great. Thanks. Good morning. Thanks, Jeff, for having Ruskin. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you guys for your time this morning. Um, just wanted to kind of really briefly go over our Ruskin website. It really is it's a great tool to get familiar with the Ruskin products. If I'm sharing my screen, if you go to Quick Select, you have the opportunity to go look at life safety products, and it takes you into basically a hyperlink documents. That if you're only looking for combination fire smoke dampers or an hour and a half, you can select that and gives you multiple options. Or if you're looking for louvers and architecture, it takes you into like stationary louvers. Perhaps you're looking for acoustical louvers, penthouse louvers. So you have the opportunity to kind of go through the quick select. If you're looking for commercial control dampers, you can look at them as far as aluminum airfoil or galvanized or V-groove. So it kind of really narrows the breadth of all the products that we have into families that you can go from there. Industrial control dampers, concentric diffusers. This morning, we're going to go over our software tab. If you go into the software tab, you get into the wind load calculator. This is really a handy tool. A lot of times, the louvers, equipment screens, mechanical equipment screens are really kind of talked about in Division 8 or 9 in the architecture specification. Sometimes it's touched on structure drawings, but you as a consulting engineer, the contractor for selecting those louvers, um, or equipment screens or in-houses, it's kind of you're asked sometimes, what's the final wind load? So there's two revisions out there, 710 and 705. Again, these information can be found on the structure drawings, depending on what revision you're using. Most of International Building Code adopted use 710. I believe Denver uses a 710. And you can look at here, this is like an example of a structure drawings. It gives you the some of the information that you need. And we can go over this a little bit. But for example, if you got a louver, is it a penthouse? Let's go and say it's a louver. Product elevation, let's say it's up on the roof. Let's say it's 100 feet. The structure, total structural height, it's probably 120 because it's up on the roof. And then you select this as being enclosed or partially enclosed. I'm gonna say structurally enclosed or structure enclosed. And this is again, this is not the altitude. This is the architecture elevation of the product. Exposure category, most likely in Denver, you're going to be either B or C. Let's go ahead and select C. And then ultimate design wind speed, miles per hour. That's probably on the structure drawings. I'm not sure what it is in Denver, but let's go ahead and select 100. And that gives you your final wind load pound per square foot, which is 34 pounds square foot. If the mechanical documents is silent about the wind load, we assume it's 30. Rust can design everything minimum 30. So unless you specify it, we're going to go with 30. Obviously, if you have the opportunity to ask those questions and coordinate it, it kind of level the ground of what, when you're bidding the job or you're looking at it, it's nice to have that information. If I'm using the 2005 revisions, you can see it calculated 57 pounds per square foot. So it's important to know what revisions you're looking at. Again, this is captured in the structure drawings. I believe Denver is under 7, revision 10, but double check on that. And you can include these documents into your contract documents, into your drawings, mechanical drawings. It's nice to have that documentation. So that's what's wind load calculator. It's available to anybody right now. It says my name here because I have access to our portal, but you can log in into Ruskin and you can go into software and you can do it from there. The other one I want to talk about is leads. This is a really nice selection programs for louvers. We improved on that one. So right now we've got a family of stationary, wind-driven, hurricane, adjustable, combination, acoustical. So you decide. Most likely in Denver, you're going to be looking at stationary louvers, or maybe you're looking at adjustable. But let's look at the stationary louvers. Sorry, I'm in the airport. It's a little bit slow connections here, but it'll take me a minute. So let me go back. Usually it's not that slow, but I'm in the airport. So let me go back at it. So we know maybe you have the width, height, or airflow. Maybe you have the width, airflow, or pressure drop. Let's say you're working with the architect. You know that you need to be maybe 60 inches wide, and you're not sure about your height. And let's say you've got 8,500 CFM, and your maximum want to be 0.1 inches per water gauge, and this is your intake. And then I've got filter here that maybe you're just looking at an AMCA 500 certification for air performance and water penetration. This is not a debris impact. You don't have the AMCA 540. Sometimes if you're designing a data center or a hospital, sometimes they might have a Florida product approval, even though it's being installed in Denver. We do see that. And FEMA would be tornado shelter. But let's say you've got that AMCA 500 for air and water. And let's say, you know, from the documentation needs to be maybe a 6-inch deep, and material, it's probably aluminum. You could do galvanized, but most of them are aluminum. So anyway, I have the filter. The safety factor we recommended always to be 15% safety factor. And the reason we do that, because AMCA do the testing at 48 by 48 inches, and it's mill finish, no screen, no equipment screen, excuse me, no bird screen. And so most likely you're going to probably have that. So that's why we include the 15% safety factor. So I've got those filters in here, and I'm going to click on it, and it gives me these options. So all these are 6 inches. You can sort them by frame thickness. You can sort them by, better yet, your height, gives you the width, or maybe your free area, or you can sort it by, you know, the maximum free area, or maybe your pressure drop. So if I do pressure drop, you see that you got the ELF 6425 DD, and then it gives you also the ELF 6350 DMP. And right here, it has like a water penetration safety factor. So you can see here, I've got too much of a louver, 1.7. I have the opportunity to drop it a little bit. Maybe I reduce the width. You can see like here, this is a nice product to have, but look at the cost index. So cost index is 55. Really, it's kind of like a 55% higher than the DMP, or sorry, than the ELF 637 DX or DXH. Anyway, the DMP looks like it's a great selections, but I have maybe too much of a water penetration safety factor. So maybe I'll reduce that to say 56 inches. And then I do again search. And right there, give me a water penetration. DMP is still very low. So let's do something like 48 inches. And then search. You can see like it's still really high on the water penetration, which means I've got too much of a louver, but I really like this selection. So for example, let's just go with which one's the pressure or pressure drop. Let's do the LF 6425 DD. And then let's say this is tag L1, and I've got 4 of these, and it's going to be L1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And then let's say I've got the same thing, but I'm going to make it exhaust. And maybe this is, I'm looking at maybe 7,500. Search. And I selected I forgot which one I selected, but I selected the ELF 645 DMP, I believe. So maybe I'll go ahead and add this one. So they all look the same. And maybe I got 4. And this is L 5, 6, 7, 8. So, okay. So now I go to my schedule, and I have these selected. And what I do is I select them, and I export it. Sorry about the background.
Decided to change equipment, so they had to do that. and it is off the gate now.
So I've got the
it should be
selections here.
shortly, getting here right 12:35. As soon as it is airborne, my telephone.
I'll take over for a second, Gassan. Sorry about that, everyone. So what Gassan's trying to show there is, especially for the engineers, this is a really nice tool. Once you make your selections, again, you can tag it and export it to this Excel file right away. And copy and paste this into your schedules as needed. You can go through and obviously call out anything that you like with the free area, the pressure drops, any additional information that you would like to see there. You can add or omit as needed. But this is a very powerful tool. It's nice, it's clean. To Gassan, it's quick. It's very easy, especially those projects where you have several louvers that you're trying to decide what the right requirement is. So leads on the Ruskin website, very, very useful tool.
Yep,
Gassan,
thank
I'll
you.
pass it back over to you.
Yep, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, sorry about the background, guys. But yeah, this is an Excel sheet that basically you can save it. And then this is not, you can't save this on a web base because you have access to it. Anybody have access, you can go to just ruskin.com. And from there, you can create the software. You can go from there. We have a few minutes. I was going to go over one more thing. So this is the leads for, you could use this for louvers. And we're basically going to add dynamic submittals to it. But please use it. It's a very handy tool to size your louvers and kind of narrow it based on model number. The other one I was going to go over is our airflow measurement. So TDP05K is basically thermal dispersion probe, and it goes from 0 to 5,000 feet per minute. Its velocity, 0 to 5,000 feet per minute. Let's say I know my duct is going to be 24 inches and it's 18 inches, and maybe I've got a straight run of 36 inches. That tells me that I need 2 probes. Each probe is going to have 3 sensors. Maybe I've got a veined elbow before it. I've got a veined elbow after it. And it basically tells me that, that how much spacing I can take. And so maybe what I need to do is make this a little bit more. So we'll make it 48 inches. You can still see that I'm not meaning it. So maybe instead of a veined elbow, I'll do unveined, and still tell me that I've got unduct. Or maybe I'll just do a straight supply duct discharge or transition reducing it. So you have the ability to select it in there. Don't worry about this too much. I think what we could do is we add more probes or more sensors to make any bad location a good location, because reality, you're not going to have 5 feet of straight duct, but that gives you an idea of what we're looking at as far as probes and sensors. So this is a really handy tool to use. Again, you can go under software, leads for louvers, TDP05K for placement of airflow measurements, and wind load calculator for the structural load, which is pound per square foot based on your wind load miles per hour. So Sunshade, it's just another program that architects can go through and select it. But again, yeah, this is a really handy tool. You can go in there also. You can just simply type in here FSD 60, and it takes you to our galvanized damper, fire smoke damper that's galvanized. So you can do like CD50 for aluminum, and it takes you into that as well. And from there, you can go into a product sheet. You can go into technical information. You can download them from there. You can do spec, CAD, Revit files. So I know we're almost up to 15 minutes. So with that, I was going to turn it back to you, Jeff. I think you're on mute, Jeff.
Yep, muted myself. Thank you very much, Gassan. I know you're traveling all the time. So yeah, it's the life of a regional sales manager, always on the go. But thank you for taking the time today. Now, the part that